I don't usually like making videos about, hey everybody, check out the latest drama, but my Lanta, what happened yesterday has to be discussed, and I think you deserve to have it brought to your attention, not only so that you're informed, but so that Scopely themselves are aware that we see it and we demand improvement. And for those that don't know, the title's not clickbait, it actually happened. We're going to roll through and talk about it, what all happened, as well as giving you updates to where the game is right now. And hopefully this can turn into an actual checklist of like, look Scopely, we get why you're doing what you're doing, but we can no longer go with the bugs will get fixed when they do. We need actual timelines, checklists, etc. Let's talk about it.
Fancy intro music, yeah! Woohoo!
This is IA, what was the #1 alliance in the entire game. Not the #1 alliance on server 20, but the most powerful in terms of power alliance on Star Trek Fleet Command, which is now empty, currently with the leader awaiting for his account to be archived. He's already put in the request, and the last message I received from Behringer last night was, that's it, I'm out, deleting Discord. And this is what he said. Now, I'm not going to include our full conversation, but many frustrations. And to be clear, this video isn't just about IA going full nuclear, even though that is part of the clickbait. There are a lot of things that happened this day that show the miscommunications, lack of communications, and consistently inconsistent problems that continue to shoot Star Trek Fleet Command in the foot. And it's all things that, in my opinion, should be quite easy to actually rectify. So, what caused stuff like this? Well, the first thing that started the straw to the camel's back is remember that the VIP area of the game, for those that don't know, there's a private Discord, and a lot of those are the players like Behringer who spent a lot of money to keep this game free to play. In fact, Behringer's one of the players who got a USS Vengeance and maxed it out. So you're talking about a player who just spent a lot of money very recently on a new ship. Something that other high-end players, not only Behringer, but Jazzbo and Eastio and other names you've heard me mention that I'm name dropping now, have all expressed serious frustration about the USS Vengeance. And there's been a powder keg, not only in the entire community that involves you, but also in the VIP area of this game as well. A powder keg of frustrated players who are demanding a Scopely listen. And I will say, look, not everybody bought into the interview with the GM, which some jokingly call a ransom video. I did as well. An apology video, which truthfully did feel like there was an apology in there. But there's also not a lot of concrete. So a couple of things happened yesterday. So the VIP area of the game has a special area for feedback, much like the official Discord does. For those who've never experienced it, you can submit feedback through content creators like myself. You can submit feedback through the official moderators. You can submit feedback through the official Discord that has a channel. But in the VIP Discord, there was a voice and feedback area that was run by a player named Nigel, a volunteer, another great person who's trying to make the game better with their time and by helping players better understand the game and better understand how to deal with Star Trek Fleet Command. Now, what they ended up doing is coming in and shutting it down, deleting it, completely doing away with everything that was there. And keep in mind, there were active players in this VIP chat, and this is an area that gets used very frequently. We're talking about something that is frequented. There's about 2,100 players in the VIP Discord, and this is something that's being used 4, 5, 6, 7 times a week consistently. Players use it often to communicate with each other, but also to give feedback to the dev team, to community managers, and it was an area that they had where they felt like their voice could be heard. And without really any communication, it was taken away from them. Now, the reason of why that happened is Scopely still waiting to tell everybody why, but the big key is not explaining your plan. Now, they have, of course, come back later, hours later, and told players, hey, the plan is to bring this back, but without giving any information. Of course, being intentionally vague, as Scopely tends to be. And that's, again, a big problem with this game. So this, of course, incited a massive riot and a massive horde of pitchforks and torches in VIP that started to spill out into the content creator streams, into the Discords. And it was only a straw to a camel's back. Again, using that cliche. What ended up producing this type of result was part of that. So where you have things like the VIP getting mad, again, talk about that powder keg that exists. Well, Behringer and another one of the players from IAT had tried to set up a meeting with Scopely. And they wanted to come to them not just to air grievances, but to actually discuss a plan to make STFC better, to correct some of the mistakes, and in their belief, really, take Connor, the GM, at his word and try to help make the game better. And keep in mind that when it comes to high-level players, the thing that matters to them most is not necessarily their money, it's their time. It's the time they put into the game that is valuable to them because, well, if you can afford to spend $20,000, $30,000 on a ship, then it's not the dollar amount that really inconveniences you. It's your time if it is wasted. Both these individuals, high-level individuals in their own real-world perspectives, set aside time on their schedule, cancel various things in real life to have this meeting, only for Scopely to then cancel last minute without a real response as to why. Just, nope, never mind, not happening. So this, again, another straw to a camel, results in the top alliance in the game gone. Behringer account archive request sent in. Again, you saw the screenshot earlier. T already been archived. All Fudget quit 48 hours ago. Multiple level 70s from the top alliance all gone, with others considering the same. And this doesn't even include the fact that, say, server 26 out there. If there's any server 26 fans and members in the chat, feel free to jump into the comment section. Plenty of server 26 level 70s have quit. In fact, in the past couple months, I've run into this a lot of high-level players quitting. And that kind of fits the theme of what we've been talking about in recent STFC history and in recent STFC lore. We've seen an actual exodus. Remember when I brought up back in July during the Q&A video and I ranted at Scopely like, you need to really get a grip. It's a wake-up call because players are actually leaving. This isn't before where players are frustrated, but they're sticking around and not really saying anything. They're just dealing with it. That's not the case anymore. And then here's some more numbers to update you on where we're at. I told you back then that about 10,000 players had left the game between May and July. And this is tracking from an independent network with Stfc.WTF. This is tracking accounts that are registered and active. They're showing scoring every day. You went from 245 back in May down to 232,000. Do want to point out that we're ignoring things like level 1 accounts and stuff, but you're looking at a 13,000 player reduction. That is 3,000 players more, right around, as you can see the numbers, between July and August. So not only has the decline not been stymied yet, it's clearly still ongoing, and you're also seeing it affect the highest spenders in the game, which is how Scopely makes most of its revenue. So were you still relying on high-end spenders to do things like go after the Vengeance, the Reliant, the Serene Squall, the pay-to-win events that have come up recently, like the Syndicate event that many of you have been grumbling about right here, very pay to participate. And I've said I don't really mind these events as long as they're properly labeled. But when you have a contentious, cantankerous, and upset player base, you're going to have a powder keg that things that seemingly are innocent, or maybe even aren't that serious in your opinion, set things ablaze. And this is where we really come to the meat and potatoes of what I believe this video needs to say, right? We don't need to get into the utter details of all the little things. Good, I'm glad the VIPs are going to get their voice back. The fact that it was removed without proper communication is a problem, right? I hope that Behringer changes his mind, but according to his text to me, he's not. He's gone. And we've lost 3 of the highest level players in one alliance, with others on the same server having the same discussion about leaving, with other players on other servers well known doing the same thing. Istio, I talked to him last night, has no drive to jump into the game right now because of the USS Vengeance and because of G7. And Istio was the #1 spender in the game for a year. And he has expressed legitimate frustration thinking about quitting. And this is my message to Scopely. And again, not to be negative. I truly want this game to succeed. And let me be honest, I said it on stream last night. I'm scared to death if the game goes because I'm not ready to move on to another game. I can't financially support my family on another game yet, even though we play amazing games like War Thunder. But what games like War Thunder have done is had the community unified. And the community unified to do things like mass review bomb and spending boycotts until the game came out with actual roadmaps, guaranteed dates to actually fix things. And that's my message to Scopely. And if it comes to that, maybe that's what the players need to do. Since I no longer have an NDA, I don't have to worry about saying the B word, boycott. I don't have to say worry about saying the word review bomb. Because you know what? If that's what it takes, that's what a lot of times players have to do. You have to look at your game and, hey, if I'm going to save it, Maybe I have to destroy it a little bit first. Now, I'm not telling players to do that. You decide if that's the rallying cry that you need to do. But what I am going to do is look right into this camera and speak to Scopely. You can't say in your video with GM Connor, well, we're going to work on the bugs, but not give you a timetable. You can't say we're going to work on the platform and not give details. Are you going to upgrade to Unity 2023? And when? Are you going to go all the way to Unity 6 because it has an LTS option? What are you going to do? The players at the point are at a breaking point where even things that you might consider small are causing mass exodus, or causing some of your most loyal players who've been here for almost 7 years and have spent hundreds of thousands of dollars to leave. And it's not like Scopely is currently bringing in a lot of new faces into Star Trek Fleet Command. There's not been a new server to launch in EU in quite some time. The US is not launching new servers every month anymore. So you're not exactly bringing in a ton of new high-level spenders. You've got to be more consistent, honest, and when these problems are happening, be out in front and not be vague. You need to really put the cap on, get the boots strapped up, and get to work. And I'm not saying this as somebody who's trying to rile the flames. I hope that is not needed. But I'm not kidding you, Scopely. You got to look at the numbers. Player population, 6% lost in 4 months. That's concerning. Losing dozens just in the past few weeks of your highest spenders is concerning. If you want this game to last 3 to 5 more years, you've got to do things now. You've got to tell folks things now. You can't wait anymore, or this game has only got about 12 more months before it hits maintenance mode. And that's scary for me because I love this game and this community. And as you and I both agree, it's the best part of this game. It's what makes this game so special. But Scopely, you've really got to shape up. This isn't Rev stirring flames and just being a sensationalist. These are raw, hard numbers and actual things happening that you need to address. And the only way to do it is with clear transparency, with honesty, with openness. Great, you said you're wrong. Now you need to say exactly what you're doing, and you don't need to wait. You don't need to say, hey, we're going to have things being worked on in September, November. You need a map now. You need to lay it all out now of what you're doing, or you're going to lose everybody. Because if this population starts dipping below 200K, there's no recovery. That's my thoughts. That's what's going on in the game. That's the nuclear option from VIP yesterday. Really curious to see how this game goes. Live long and plunder. Stay safe for their Space Cowboys. Deuce, that's me. Catch you in the next one. We're out.
An even better outro than the intro. For the Empire and glory to your house.